Oh, yeah, I didn't get to this. Actually. Where is USA's Oreshnik? Yes, that's the point. There is none. And what Oreshnik, with this one, that particular ammo dump, and it was deep, deep underground. I mean, they blew the crap out of it. Like, that was just stunning. I'm not a military expert. I responded like a layperson, but I do know military experts who were also stunned. I mean, watching it was like a sci-fi movie. There were 6, boom. And they did that once, and they did it for effect, because that's what Russians do. We give. You want more? We give you more. But we don't need to use now. And the Americans, NATO, the Germans, the West Europeans, the Westerners don't seem to realize that they have this is not a nuclear war even. You have ballistic and hypersonic non-nuclear payloads with incredible accuracy and devastation that can't be traced. So in now what? And so you want to go further? Like, I don't know what to. You know what it's like? You're attacked by a toddler, and the best thing you can do is you lean back and you put your hand on the kid's forehead, right? And he can swing and swing and swing and swing until he gets tired. But that's what it is. I don't know. There is none.
Where do you go for reliable news, Dan?
To Sean Atwood. I go to Sean Atwood.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
My friend.
Yes.
Vicky wants to know what part does Israel play in all these wars?
That's a key part in the embedding of themselves in the United States infrastructure. And I don't say I'm an anti-Zionist, inveterate, pro-Palestinian, but I don't say that Israel runs America or the Jews run America or anything like this. I say that the Zionist project is an imperial design. Clearly, it is a racist, colonizing interlopement on someone else's territory. It's like a forward. It is a land-based aircraft carrier for the West in the Middle East. No question. That's what it is. And because of the proxies that are there, I mean, this is worse than Zelensky's crew. They you look at people, even now, the mainstream, like Netanyahu, is a Yahoo, but that is just in charge of the Knesset. If you go to like settlers and these people, they're absolutely crazy, and they join forces with the Christian Zionists in the United States, which is a huge, 40% of the United States consider themselves to be reborn, evangelicals. And so this huge idea has an incredibly anchoring effect on all of these wars. No question.
Next one is, who is Zelensky's puppet masters?
I think if you see guy gets his head bashed in a smackdown with Trump, right? Runs off to London. Farmer and the king, his royal, his nebulous King Sausage Fingers, King Charles is with his arm around him. I say, my Uncle Edward could have stood with you through the last, into the breach, I say. No, but I would say the Americans too. I think That was just because that was hilarious. He ran in and he brought all these people, and there was that bizarre PR campaign that surrounded that meeting in London. Like, I say,
slobbering all over Keir Starmer, who was pimping out King's Palace.
Those Americans never did.
I'm too dumb to really understand what the point of the jokes are, but the words are funny. I like
No, but they are the ruling class. It's the Western, the agents of capitalism. They are the owners of everything. The people who make money when you breathe. Those are the puppet masters. And Zelensky is just one more puppet. That's the other thing. And he's the only one on earth, apparently, aside from his majesty and Starmer, that doesn't get it. Who? What? What is your name? I'm sorry. I left the puppet Rolodex. Hold on. He says Zelensky. Oh, that's a Z. Let me get the book too. That's way at the end of the alphabet. That's after Pinochet. Certainly after Arbenz. Certainly after Mossadegh. I mean, there's these guys get thrown away and washed up like yesterday's trash. And to think that he has his own identity. You saw, what Trump did was perfect because Trump is a boor. He's, I don't like you no more. Get out of here. Like that. That's the, and of course the British would say, we have a problem with our ongoing relationship. We need to kind of, I'd say, correct that if you mind exiting the building and my entire infrastructure. But there is a medium where you don't do. That was, undiplomatic, really repulsive. But it was the point. We're done with you. You're not, who are you? Did you come to clean? Or did you, I don't know if you, what are you doing here? We have a pianist and a pianist. Which you have both of. We have both of, as we know. On you at any given. But you're no good to us anymore. And that is clear. That is reasoned. And this is, I have to say, that's why people like Trump. I don't agree, but this is like, he says what people are thinking. Well, that's stupid.
And just to add a bit of a confirmation to what you just said. So a friend of mine, he was recently going to interview Liz Truss, and he asked me if I had any questions. And I said, you ask her who's behind the government, who's really running it. And he did. And she said, a group of technocratic elites are running the UK government, which ties in to exactly what Dan just said there. So the next question is, will Zelensky have to move to a new luxurious mansion in a different... He's going to end up like the Shah of Iran, isn't he?
I know. Yes. And all the Nicaraguans moved to Miami. I remember being in Nicaragua when they came back. This is after the election in 1990, when the Contras, when Chamorro won the election. The Sandinistas were kicked out for 20 years or whatever. And they called them the Miami Nicaraguans, like the Miami Cubans, Cusanos, the worms, they call them. And there was like these rich kids hanging around eating ice cream in front of their houses. They were back. And I talked to my Nicaraguan friends, poor friends who were working the Sandinista stuff, right? And they came back. And so maybe one of them gave up a mansion. It's the Shah. The Shah's dead. Maybe he can have his spot. Idi Amin went to Saudi Arabia, right? But and remember, What do we do with the Shah? That's what I'm thinking. This is what, I don't know. You want him? No, I don't want him. Do you want him? I don't know. It's really, we're having elections coming up, and he does that thing with his hair. I don't know how these people talk.
What lesson did America learn from Syria? None, apparently.
No, yeah, I was just about to say that. None. Oh, but that's not none. That's sometimes it works. Sometimes that's what we've been talking since the beginning, which is what, 7-8 hours ago? No, okay. They have the same script. They have the same font. They have the same page numbers. They have the same everything. Why do they keep doing it? And that's the lesson they learned.
So we're now best friends with ISIS.
Well, how do you get those white Toyota, 150 white Toyotas screaming like, oh, they're all secret.
Honestly, I go away for 2 seconds, and the first thing I hear when I come back is, so we're best friends with ISIS now.
Well, there you go. Sorry, Ron.
If anyone is watching in the educational system, you teach history, learn how to do the accents. If anyone teaching me history at high school had done the accents, I would have been fully engaged. Okay.
This is the last. We're about to hit 2 hours, Dan. This is the last question now, and it's a pertinent one. It really kind of summarizes the whole conversation. If we as Americans can't accept reality, how can we fix it?
Yeah. Agent Orange, just like the chemical who bore your name. I sympathize. Leave it to me, or D-Leave.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's the question. And I think that it's not selling our own soap here, but I think talking and exposing is the absolute benchmark. That's how we start it. I don't, because I'm not going to say find a candidate. That's crap. The political system is more than broken. It's like, what they say about technology. That's not a bug, it's a feature. That's all the leaks are there for a reason. And so you can't just elect the right people. You can't just have a big demonstration. That's run by whom? Those are the stupid pink hats that they had in the anti-Trump thing in 2016. And I'm trying to explain to 7 and 8 year old girls why mom has a pussy hat. I'm thinking, I think you should ask her. I really don't want to get involved in this. But we are at a nadir, a real low point of reactionary control, I think. But we have enormous potential and hope from exactly what is happening. First of all, what do we do mostly is watch. Tell the truth about what's going on in our own country. Teach our kids to know that truth and to watch what's happening with Iran, China, Russia, BRICS. This is what is happening now. The reason it looks so stupid and the reason they look so crazy is because they are desperate. They still own every channel. They still own all of the propaganda mechanisms that we can even imagine. But they are losing in a way that every empire always has. And they fight. They pick this fight. That doesn't work. They pick this fight. They pick this fight. And they're losing on all fronts. That's good. I don't know that we'll live to see it. I'm sorry. Sorry to put a damper on that. But I think that it is starting to go in the right direction for most of the world. But remember, the 7/8 of humanity is not us. Not the West.
They decompose slowly, just like the Roman Empire. Dan, you've been an absolute gentleman.
Before we close, Sean,
yeah.
If you want to see Dan and Lionel and Emil all on the one panel,
God.
just for a chaos night, right?
How many hours is that?
One in the side. No, it's you guys would just be brilliant having a conversation together. It would be amazing. But sorry for interrupting you, Sean. Please.
No, and we appreciate all of the subs. Dan's well over 100. If you're watching this on replay, the link to Dan's channel will be in the YouTube description box and the pinned comment. We've also got links for his website, his VK, his X, his Buy Me a Coffee.
Oh, yeah, the Buy Me a Coffee. The Buy Me a Coffee, yeah.
Yeah, they are all down there, folks. And I really enjoyed this. The side conversation about Russian literature. Next time I'm going to get onto Day in the Life of Ivan. We'll discuss the so
Denisovich. Duh.
Yes. So put a one if you want more Dan. Put a 2 if you want Dan to bog off. And hopefully when there's something developing with geopolitics, we'll get him back. But it's time for us here to bloody well go to bed. So thank you for being such a good sport, my friend. It was hilarious in parts and very serious in other parts. And we've really enjoyed spending the time with us.
Thank you.
We'll let you get on with your day. Thank you, my friend. Cheers. Right. So me and Ron are probably going to go to bed now, I think. It's getting late here.
Yeah.
And Ron's been working overtime today. But we will be back tomorrow. Do you want to let them know what's coming tomorrow, Ron?
Well, hopefully there's going to be a Julia update. If not, we're going to do a recount and a recap of where Julia is at. There is, listen, Sean, this Lucy Letby thing is mad, okay? Like, it is mad. So today we started a series where we're looking at it objectively from the opinion of, should the legal system be denying world-leading experts when it comes to the assessment of the miscarriage of justice? We're not looking at if Lucy Letby is guilty or not. We're arguing just now at the process that seems to be being denied, because the gentleman who is at the top of this new information is the top geezer in his field in the world, Sean. And we're talking the number one there. He is so good at pediatrics that he identified a rash in babies that is so life-saving because the rash represents air bubbles approaching the blood system.
Wow.
And the way for spotting it is now called like the Lee rash after him because he discovered it, right? And it's the biggest pediatric investigation in the history of the world, and it's all new information. So would these people put their careers on the line for a unaliving baby nurse if there wasn't something for at least the legal system to look at? Fascinating debate. It's mad, and it's just crazy. So that's
because there was a theory that all the sins of that hospital were put on her shoulders,
right?
And I could see that. I mean, bureaucrats are so evil.
Yeah,
I could see them doing that as well. Yeah,
and again, we're not even at the stage of is she guilty? Is she not? We're just looking at who the people are that are putting their careers on the line and asking the questions about people of that caliber. Should the legal system should pay attention to them, because if there's always room for error, where no one's perfect. And I think the fact that it's such a horrible case because it involves poor loss of life of little babies, people find it hard to step forward and say, well, hey, listen, wait a minute. If something's gone wrong in the legal system, those little ones haven't had justice. And that's where we've been at. That's where we're at with it. So it's been interesting today. There's a lot of animated Ron with his hands up in the air, waving them about, confused at the Virginia case, which we dived in again today. We've got an eyewitness testimony from the bus driver now. It's all looking really scary, is really where it's at, because he said there was one person in the car and it was not her. That is the driver of the bus. And the plot thickens. And now we're all freaking out that she's in some government warehouse in a chilling cabinet. So it's scary. It's scary stuff.
sadly, just going back to your final point on Lucy Letby, then, one of the things that stops people from being proven innocent who've been found guilty, if they're innocent, is when the cops go to the parents of the deceased, in this case the babies, and tell them we've got the perpetrator. Once they've committed to the parents of someone who's deceased, they've discovered this in death penalty cases where people are innocent. They double down because they don't want to have to go back and tell the parents of the babies they were wrong.
100%. It's a sad fact, and again, it's not about ripping open wounds of parents who have been through so much. It's about getting the justice that is the truth. And I think everyone can get behind that, even if this case leaves a foul taste in your mouth, if it's a topic that makes you feel icky. It's one of those that is a bigger debate than the nightmare nurse, allegedly, if you know what I mean.
And that's what this channel is about, getting to the truth. And I could see in the chat when we had Dan on, you know, he was altering people's minds. Some people were on board. Some people, you know, when he was talking about things, it was quite surprising to them. And it's through these interviews that I've learned so much about the backstories of how these wars have come about, and how basically the litmus test is, if the BBC and the mainstream media are telling you a narrative, Putin is Hitler, then ask yourself, am I going to believe what the same media entities that told me Saddam Hussein has got weapons of mass destruction?
Yeah, right.
Am I going to believe it all? You know, once a liar, always a liar, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to an issue such as big as the war. And that's how they make all the money, the vested interest.
Am I remembering it wrongly? Or was there not like a public vote assessment before they invaded Iraq? They asked the public, do we want to invade Iraq again? And we all said no, and they were off. That was it.
And over 1 million people marched in London, and they still ignored them.
It. Brilliant, mate. It's totally.
And now they're saying Iran's got wet. They waited 20 years before people's memories faded.
Right.
And now they're saying Iran's got weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's very much like, how dumb do they think we are? It's fascinating. But anyway, you do your outro, brother, and thank you to the side chat, thank you to the mods, thank you everybody.
All right, good night, Ron, and good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back with more content tomorrow. I'm going to try and get some guests lined up for Monday as well. I'll have announcements on them, and I do have George the Giant Slayer coming on. Let me just check what night that one is. He's going to be talking about the end of woke and the end of Harry and Meghan. That is on the 8th. So we're on the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, Tuesday night, apparently. All right. Much love and respect wherever you are in the world. Take care. Adios. Don't be going to bed thinking about Zelensky playing the piano with his pecker and getting handed 100 billion by the Biden crime family. And for us not to expect some of it to go to his coke dealer,